Hello, everyone. We are now live. Welcome to some Justice League Snyder Cut chat. Your main man, Derek Movie Mash O'Sullivan, couldn't be here tonight. He's feeling a bit under the weather. I've stepped in for him, and I'm joined by the Cinema Chop Shop, Davey, from the
How you doing,
80s,
everybody? How you doing?
and Justin.
How y'all doing? What's
I
up?
like that Lakers shirt, sir. Good
Yes,
job.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, you got all your Superman gear on. Oh yeah, your Super
yeah,
Clark.
yeah, Superman.
Super Clark.
Batman, Superman. Yeah.
Oh. So you must be thrilled by the way that they butchered Superman's character in this movie, right?
Well, we can get into that. We can get into that.
All right.
So, did we all watch it Thursday? Did we, or
What happened?
did we
I
all
watched
watch
it Thursday. I watched it Thursday.
I watched it Thursday when I got off of work. So I from 6 to like 10:30, I grinded it out and watched it.
Yeah. I watched it. I think I watched it at 10 on Thursday before I went to work. Me and my mom watched it. But I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's a long movie.
Man, seriously,
Yeah.
that's like
That's a long movie.
Perhaps we better just start in case there's people watching who aren't 100% up with the backstory of the whole Snyder Cut. I'm sure most are, but just in case there's someone watching that isn't. Obviously, just recently, this past Thursday, the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League 2017 movie was released. He did direct it back in 2017, but due to a family tragedy, he had to leave the movie, and it was taken over by Joss Whedon and finished by Joss Whedon, and significantly changed, I think we'll all agree, by Joss Whedon.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really very warmly received. And unless you probably have been, unless you've been sort of under a blanket for the last 4 years, there has been an online movement getting stronger and stronger to release the Snyder Cut, and it got so strong that a year ago, almost a year ago today, I think, it was announced that they're gonna be releasing it, and it was finally released, like I say, this past Thursday. So anticipation, I think, has probably been sky high. Would you agree, guys, for this movie?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
It's maybe one of the most anticipated movies, I think, in my memory, to be fair. And I'm not saying that because I think it's the greatest movie that's ever come out, but simply the anticipation of what his vision was, I think.
I can see that. I mean, I wouldn't give it the most anticipated. I feel like Godzilla vs. Kong got a lot of hype because of the trailer that got released at the beginning of the year, and I know that gave this movie a run for its money. There hasn't really been a lot announced that I would say that would garnish a lot of attention, especially from the community. But definitely Godzilla and the Snyder Cut are the two in everybody's eye, and I feel like they're probably battling it out for dominant position.
I mean, I look back over the last few years, and Endgame obviously had a lot of anticipation after Infinity War, and there was a big build-up for that. But I think I'd have to go back personally as far back as Star Wars Episode 1, as the anticipation for a movie. Me personally, I think it was quite high. So yeah, 4 hours. I think we all watched it in one sitting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I sat through it and watched it all the way through. I felt like I wouldn't have done it justice if I would have did it in parts, bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So Philip's obviously watching. He's put on there. He watched it this morning and he loved it. This is how it was meant to be in Snyder's image. I personally couldn't agree more. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
It really, honestly, it felt like, aside from like the ending and some scenes that were extended, I mean, it kind of really felt like it just felt like the original version, but just longer and a different ending, and then also the epilogue. That's what I got. Now I could probably possibly be wrong about it, but when I watched it, that's what it felt like. It felt like scenes were extended. So like the bank scene was extended, the mountain climbing scene was extended. Different things were kind of highlighted more. So like Steppenwolf had like a motive. It did a really good job at like fleshing out the characters and fleshing out the story more. But all in all, like I said, it felt like the same movie, just kind of like, you know, giving a little bit extra meat on the bones. What do you think, Justin?
My thing is, I think that they did a good job developing Steppenwolf's motive to what he's trying to do to, you know, to unify the mother box to summon, you know, Darkseid.
He didn't care. He didn't care about unifying the mother box. He just wanted to go home.
Well, yeah, well, you know, but I'm just saying is this, you know, he just wanted, you know, to get the mother boxes. And I like how they made him tight in this movie. Like Steppenwolf, like the CGI, he was like glossing, bro. He was really glossing. I'm like, Steppenwolf is really like shining this movie. I like how in this movie all the characters were developed right. That's
I wouldn't say all.
I loved about it.
I wouldn't say all.
Well,
all is a reach. All is a reach.
Okay.
I felt like minor characters were developed. I felt like minor characters were developed better, and I felt like major characters took a step back. That's what I feel. I feel like
in what way?
I feel like all the characters that had established films took a step back developmentally, and then the characters that didn't have films, they stepped up. So we learned more about Flash. We learned more about Cyborg. But then when you had like Aquaman, Supes, Batman, Wonder Woman, you really didn't get much from them from this film, in my opinion.
Well, the way I mean, I haven't watched Justice League, the 2017 movie, recently, but I think there's an awful lot more of Aquaman in this movie. Way more development in this movie. I mean, there's scenes with William Dafoe in here that aren't in the original cut. Mm-hmm. You see his, you know, because when he first sees Batman and he says like, basically, I don't want any part of this. You know, you're the Bat. I'm doing my thing, and he swims off into the sea.
Yeah.
You know, and then in the original cut, he basically just decides to turn up when they're in need of it. When Steppenwolf bursts the pipe, you know, whereas you see that bit more here. You know, the only real development in the original one was like that scene that was cut from this one, where he's got the lasso of truth around his leg or whatever, and he's talking the truth to Wonder Woman, and that scene was cut. But I think you get far more development. I know what Justin thinks, obviously, from Aquaman in this movie. I mean, Superman. It took 3 hours to get Superman in the movie. But it didn't feel like 3 hours, guys. Not to me personally.
Yeah, it did. I mean, at the beginning, it dragged for me, but then once it started picking up, it didn't take its foot off the gas. I appreciated that part. Mm-hmm. But would you really consider that like really character development, or more so along the lines of like kind of explaining plot? So, like you said, like in the Joss Whedon version, like well, actually, he fights Steppenwolf underwater, and then he pops up again to fight Steppenwolf again later in the pipe in the original version. So this version, the same thing kind of happens, but also they added the scene where he's talking to William Dafoe. So that kind of gives you more of an understanding of like, you know, I guess it gives you more of an explanation of why he possibly did go and eventually help them. But I don't really feel like that's really character development. That's just more along the lines of like, building more on plot.
There's the scenes where they're at the graveyard, and getting Clark obviously ready to be reborn. Where you've got, you know, he's talking to Wonder Woman there. I just think, I'm not saying they're massive moments, but there's just extra moments that do flesh out the character, and there's things, I think, in his character that followed on with Aquaman that came out a year later, which I think if they'd been in the original cut, then I think that would have helped. Not that Aquaman needed any help; it was a good movie in my opinion, but it's that seamless move from Justice League to Aquaman, which I believe, unless you correct me wrong, was the next movie released after Justice League.
Yeah, I think it was. The one thing I was glad about Aquaman's character is they got rid of his whole Big Lebowski, the dude persona. Like I felt like he didn't have that a lot in this movie, which I appreciate more.
He wasn't just the my man.
Yeah, my man.
That. Yeah. They took that out.
It's definitely more depth to him in this, but I mean, I think you have to go back as far as Batman v Superman to really fully discuss this, guys. You know, Batman v Superman got a lot of flack, I think, for how it introduced these characters. You know, without talking about the movie itself, just the way in which it introduced the characters that were coming into the Justice League, it got a lot of flack. And then when you see Justice League and you see how quickly all these characters are introduced and how they're given virtually no time in the original cut, you add Batman v Superman to Justice League and you just think it's a bit of a mess. As a cohesive follow-on movie from Batman v Superman. Whereas you watch the Snyder cut and they realised that they've had to shoe in all the characters in Batman v Superman in a not the greatest way, to be honest. But they then give them the depth they need, I think. I mean, Flash is really, you know, I think his character and the introduction to his love interest, I can't remember her name, is well done. I think Cyborg is a completely different character, and it just shows you how important he was to the entire plot.
Yes. Cyborg, what I like about Cyborg is like they basically made him, you know, be that, you know, guy, you know, kind of in the team and all stuff, you know, to come up with the plan. And, you know, that's I like how the way that they develop him in this movie a bit more. Like because in the Josh Whedon's version, it's just like he didn't have much growth, but in this film, big difference. So Cyborg, he took a giant step up, you know, for character growth in this movie, and that's what I liked about him. What about you, Dave?
The supporting characters really stepped it up in this movie. Now, I still didn't like Flash in this movie because I don't like this incarnation of Flash, and I also felt like he was getting, I don't know, like that. I'm sorry with him getting shot by that Baxter-looking creature. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ninja Turtles, but yeah, that Baxter-looking creature that shot him in the leg, that shit is impossible, bro. I don't care what nobody says. That shit, I know it was done for plot purposes, but it was freaking stupid. I felt like that should have never happened. They could have found another way to go about that. Him getting shot in the leg was like impossible. Yep. I don't agree with that.
I mean, for me, I appreciate what you're saying, but for me, in the moment when I'm watching the movie, it just worked because you needed something to slow down. They were about to sort of effectively defeat Steppenwolf, and you needed that sort of slight bit of, are they going to do it? You know, that anticipation, and by stopping him, that allowed that to build up, that tension to build up a little bit, just for a couple more minutes, which I think helped the movie overall.
It didn't build well. I mean, there's another way you could have went about it. You could have had Cyborg getting dismantled or beat up by Steppenwolf, and then this causes, I don't know, Flash to maybe like, because he was like, I can't hold this any longer. So you could show the consequences of him trying to keep that charge and then losing it, for whatever reason, and having to stop himself or whatever the case. And then that would still do the same thing as building the tension versus using an unrealistic outcome, such as you get shot by a freaking mindless drone, a freaking bat creature looking thing, and he shoots you and then stops you in your tracks from doing your master plan. You're the fastest being on Earth, next to Superman, and you get shot by a dude that just had his timing on point. It's unbelievable. Like, you could have these are writers that are getting paid big bucks to come up with these ideas, and for them to take that cheap ass route out, to me, was a slap in the face. That's just me though. Like, I know I might be a little bit critical of this film. I did enjoy it. Like, I gave it a B. But I mean, there are things that I feel like that need to be poked at. Also, another thing I have to say is, now you guys can confirm this. Was Darkseid aware that the anti-life matter equation? Was he aware that the anti-life matter equation was on Earth the first time he came? Yes or no?
I think I mean,
when he got beat up by Zeus and Ares, the first time he came, he knew that the anti-life equation was there, right?
Yeah.
How the hell did he forget that it was there? And he was surprised when Steppenwolf told him that it was on Earth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro, but
that is a major letdown. You have a good point, because that did slip my mind.
If you traveled the galaxy and you ain't never been beat, I think you will remember the planet that you took an L on. That's just me.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody's familiar with Dragon Ball Z, like I said in my little breakdown of it, Frieza never been to planet Earth, but he sure as hell knew that Goku lived on planet Earth because he took an L from Goku and he was damn sure going to get his revenge. Exactly. So to me, it's unbelievable that Darkseid would be like, oh, that's the planet that had the anti-life equation. Bro, it's the only planet that you got your ass beat on. It's like, you should know what planet that is. Like, you have a scar on your chest probably because, Ares damn near cut you in half. So I found that kind of unbelievable that it just so happened to be like, oh, the anti-life matter is on Earth. What? It was? Like, you should know this. This is the planet you got your ass beat on. You know this. Like, did you just forget? Like, did you just bleed out and just like all of a sudden you just got amnesia? Like, I don't get it. I don't know if one of you guys can elaborate or explain it. Is there any explanation for this?
Yeah, Darkseid. Yeah, he did know that it was on that planet. So,
how did he forget though?
I don't know, man. That's
bad.
That's a good question.
That's bad writing. That's
bad writing, man. That is bad writing.
That is a good question, and that's something I'd have to go away and investigate, if I'm honest.
Yeah, because I was like watching it, and I was like, and then Stephen was like, the antimatter life equation is here. And he's like, and then it was like surprising to everybody. And I'm like, I thought that was the whole reason you guys were going back to Earth, because you wanted the equation. I didn't know that y'all didn't know. Like, how did I remembered? I mean, I'm pretty sure you should have remembered. Another thing, I felt like the power scaling in this film was off. Do you guys agree or disagree?
The what? Sorry,
power scaling of characters.
Which character for power scale?
Mostly, I'm referring to Steppenwolf and Wonder Woman for the most part. But I mean, I could generalize it as well too. But mostly, I'm kind of concerned about Steppenwolf, Wonder Woman, and a little bit about Superman.
So Wonder Woman too powerful? Is that what you're saying?
She's weaker. I think she's weaker. The reason why, I'll say this: we can assume that Steppenwolf is weaker than Darkseid, right? Is that okay to assume between all three of us?
You see this? Yeah, you seen the scene when he was coming through that dimension. He wasn't coming through the dimension, but when Steppenwolf saw him, he was like this. He started getting back and everything. You seen how scared he was as Darkseid?
Right. All right. I'm getting there. All right. So Steppenwolf is below Darkseid.
Yeah.
Right. Did Ares put a beating on Darkseid? Am I right? Like,
yes,
in the flashback? Yeah, yep. Ares put a beating on Darkseid, right?
Uh-huh.
Who beat Ares?
Wonder Woman.
Why is she struggling with Steppenwolf?
These writers, bro.
Why is she struggling with Steppenwolf? I don't get it. Like, that's just me. Like, if this is supposed to be a continuation and be in the DCEU, she should be able to handle Steppenwolf no problem. Or at least, I think her and Aquaman should have been able to handle him. And I think that Superman should have only came in the case of Darkseid, because I feel like Superman, that's the ultimate threat. For Superman to have to come in with Steppenwolf, I feel like that's kind of like downplaying his character and just kind of like, just be like, here it is, Superman's right here. You guys can clap now, But I feel like Wonder Woman, power scaling wise, should have been strong enough to beat Steppenwolf on her own. If not on her own, at least with the company of Aquaman, because she beat Ares, bro. So she should definitely be able to. And I'm assuming this movie is set after Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So hell yeah, she's stronger. She has more of a sense of her abilities.
Because did Wonder Woman take place in 1930s or something like that? In 1930s. Like when they was in that war. When they was in that war.
Wonder Woman was in there.
So hell yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense.
What your logic there though dictates that, in the same logic, I could say, because let's think, because one fighter beat another fighter, and that fighter beat someone else, that the first fighter should easily be able to defeat the other fighter, and that's not necessarily true, is it? You know.
I mean, if we're talking about like, or if you're just being from a literal sense, I mean, of course, fighting styles and things like that will vary, but this is just straight up just like raw power, like pound for pound, just raw power, just socking the hell out of each other. Wonder Woman ain't no chump. She has fighting experience. Steppenwolf has fighting experience, but he was tossing her like a garden salad.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be happening to Wonder Woman, who just beat Ares years prior.
And
I don't think what happened?
I'm not mistaken. Didn't Wonder Woman, didn't she absorb Ares's lightning power or something like that in the movie?
I think she did.
And he used that same power.
Ares didn't he have the power of Zeus or something in that movie too? In Wonder Woman?
I think so, yeah.
That's even worse. Zeus and Ares were the ones that beat freaking Darkseid. It was like Ares with the powers of Zeus. Ares with the powers of Zeus was defeated by freaking Wonder Woman. And she struggled with Steppenwolf. I mean, look, this is, if I'm the writer or if I'm the director, I honestly would have had Wonder Woman wash this fool Steppenwolf, even if she had to use the help of Aquaman. And I would have Superman come in for somebody worse.
You can take into consideration that when Darkseid was defeated, what's to say that he's now not more powerful than he was when he was defeated?
Of course he is.
Of course he is.
Of course he's more powerful.
So,
yeah, but I'm back.
So what I'm saying is Ares defeated a weaker Darkseid. Yeah, Darkseid is now more powerful. He's more powerful than Steppenwolf, but Steppenwolf would still be more powerful than Darkseid was back when Ares defeated him.
Okay, I can see that, but I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to believe because then you also have to say that Wonder Woman herself is getting more powerful. So we can't say that Wonder Woman is staying stagnant and these two beings are continuously growing. Wonder Woman's growing as well too. So I mean, and the gods are like the superior beings of these films. And honestly, if they were still existent, I think if Darkseid himself still came back to Earth, they would still give him a run for his money. I'm just saying, man, like I think that the writing is kind of like, I think they should have really took that into consideration especially with showing because I'm basing everything off of what I'm seeing in this film and what I know from the DCEU. A lot of these things, these ideas and theories that I'm coming up with are just solely based on this movie. I saw this happen in the film, so it just clicked in my head. I was like, yo, those two people, one of those persons was defeated by Wonder Woman, and he had the power of Zeus, which made him even stronger. So I don't understand how she was struggling with Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf could have got stronger, but then also we have to take into account that Wonder Woman's going to get stronger, you know?
I think we're going to have to leave that point now, I think. But just going back to a previous point, Davey, Philip's spot on there about did Darkseid know where the anti-life was? He's put, are you sure it was him? I thought it was Steppenwolf. No, like I said, I'd have to go back and rewatch it, but
no, Darkseid, when he came to the Earth the first time, he hit the ground, and then a little thing popped up on the floor, and then the dome or whatever. And then when Steppenwolf did it, the exact same thing happened, and then that's when he was like, "Yeah, it matters on Earth," you know. So, so I think that he knew, and it was kind of weird that happened like that. I think that's bad writing. That's me. I don't think they thought that all the way through. Right, also, you brought up Batman versus Superman. I just want some elaboration here.
All right.
What was the purpose of them showing the levitating dirt at the end of Batman versus Superman if Superman was actually dead? Was that a signal for something else? Like, I honestly want clarity.
My personal opinion is that was purely put there for more casual fans to let them know that Superman was coming back.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Like it didn't mean anything for real. Like, because I thought it meant like he was actually still alive in there, just like banging on the box. Like, hey, get me out of here.
People like us who know about the death of Superman and everything else, we're gonna know he's coming back. Your casual fan who just who they're trying to obviously get interested more isn't necessarily going to know that. And I think that was just a little thing that put in there to say he's obviously coming back.
Okay,
That's how
all right. All right, I can respect that. I honestly can respect that because off of my head, I'm just like, yo, did they just like forget that they did that? Like, I thought they forgot. I was like, I thought they honestly was like, oh shit, we did add that to the end of the movie, huh?
I still think Snyder, I think he's one of the best guys at making faithful comic book movies out there.
Faithful.
And I look at the likes of Watchmen as well, like and I think he does try to pay homage for the people that know the comics, but at the same time, you've got to be able to make it as broad as possible for the broadest possible audience. So
Okay. What do you think, Justin? You've been awfully quiet over there, just kicking in.
I'm just listening, man.
What are your thoughts of what's been said so far?
I mean, Zack Snyder, man, I think he's trying to give the fans, I think Zack Snyder, he was just trying to give the fans, something good, with the based with the comments or something like that. So, but it's like I said, it's good for me.
This is my thoughts on as a general overall of the film. I think, and I'm not saying he's going up against the Marvel films here, but I'm saying fans-wise, there's so many fans that will hold up the Marvel films and say it's done this way. This is the best way to do it. Build up the characters X, Y, Z, and that's what a lot of fans expect from their movies. Yeah, and I think in Batman v Superman, when they introduced his characters the way they did, people were all like put back by that and like, why are they doing it that way? They should be building the individual movies and introducing them like that. Then when you watch this film, and we can come into it in detail a bit later, but when you watch this film all the way through, and you get the epilogue as well, which really pays homage to the Batman v Superman and everything else. Rather than you think at the end of every Marvel film, you get an end scene that then basically tags on to the next movie, And what Zack Snyder did with this movie is he's actually given you not an end scene that tags on to the next movie. He's given you plot devices and spoilers, things that have already happened, i.e. the death of Harley Quinn, i.e. the death of Aquaman.
And Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman died too.
So and then with the hope that you'll then watch Justice League Part 2, and because that was how it was planned, and you then see those things come to fruition, and then my guess is Justice League Part 3 would pick up somewhere where that end scene of Justice League 1 was with Superman there, and that would be a different way rather than the Marvel formula of building a world and building a universe. And I actually think I like what DC, in Zack's hands, I like what DC was trying to do. But obviously they haven't. I think they're under pressure to make it more like Marvel, more faster, and that's why when the things happened with Zack and he took a step back, they then took that chance and that opportunity to move the DCEU in a certain direction. It is what I think.
I feel like that. I understand what the epilogue was, but I feel like the epilogue was garbage, especially that freaking dialogue banter between freaking Joker and Batman. That shit was whack. Hold on real quick. Hold on. I'm just trying to make sure I ain't missing no comments. Hold on. I didn't like that. I didn't like the dialogue between Joker and Batman. That shit was stupid. That shit felt forced. I don't know, man. I think they let Leto freestyle that. I know that they let him freestyle the whole society part, but I didn't like it. I feel like I get where they were going with the epilogue. I understand that it was because it's basically trying to build up for the next Justice League films or the future films in Zack's vision. Like that's what it was supposed to do. But along the lines outside of that banter between Joker and freaking Batman was so fucking cringy, man. Like the whole reach around line and just like it just I don't know, man. It just I didn't like Joker's laugh.
That laugh kills me, bro. That laugh is annoying.
That shit sounded like
honestly, this sounds like somebody's just basically just like lit on something like this on drugs or something like that, just trying to laugh like that shit
sounded like Mr. Hanky from South Park. That's just sounding like that shit. That laugh.
He's still not been given a proper movie, though, is he? You know what I mean? And the signs were there. The signs were there that in Justice League 2, he would have a big part to play in that.
Let me ask you something. All right, everybody here.
They completely ignored him in Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. I didn't even watch that movie.
I ain't watched that either.
I had enough of him in Suicide Squad. But let me ask you guys a question. I need a panel. I need a panel call in this. Who here would want to see a Jared Leto Joker movie solo film? Raise your hand. Nobody. Mike, you wouldn't want to see one?
Not a solo, not a Joker film. I'd like to see more of him in the universe as a whole.
No, it's either a solo film or nothing.
I personally don't. I wouldn't necessarily want to see a standalone Heath Ledger Joker movie.
Hell yeah, I would want to see that. You crazy?
What?
That shit'll be fire.
You know what? Since we on the subject about Joker,
I'm exiting this. Why not? Why would you not want to see a Heath Ledger Joker solo film? That shit would be tight, especially if Nolan directed it. Come on, man. Come on. I am done
Heath
with this.
Ledger was a better Joker.
Than
Jared Leto. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not stating
done.
I prefer Jared Leto to Heath Ledger. I'm just saying that I don't necessarily want to see them in a standalone Joker movie.
Hell nah. I gotta disagree. A Heath Ledger Joker movie would be fire if he was still alive. He embodied that character greatly. And don't get me wrong, I know that somewhere in Jared Leto's mind, there's a dope ass Joker somewhere. But I do not like his interpretation of the Joker. This was his only chance to show me that he can actually be a decent Joker, and he fucked it all up. He threw it away. Like, I just didn't like it. Like, it was just, my little fish stick. Bro, come on, man. Come on.
I do think, David, that you're being a little
when he said that, Rob was weak. He said, say it again, baby.
To say that he had his chance as the Joker and he threw it away. He had 90
love
seconds.
Jared Leto as an actor. He's a freaking amazing actor. But Joker?
You can't say that's a chance. That's not a chance. I personally think that if Zack Snyder had released his Justice League in the cinema, you wouldn't have seen the epilogue in the cinema.
Yeah. This movie was already too long. This movie really even did big numbers.
Movie, but I think the epilogue would have been shown, but I think it would have been shown in an extended cut on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. And so for that reason, he wasn't part of this movie.
Hell no.
You can't say that was his chance and he messed it up. He wasn't really part of this movie. I think
reshoots.
No, but
you got to bear in mind
to show us something more than what he gave us in Suicide Squad. Like, I was a little skeptical about his design, and I was like, damn, well, at least they got rid of the tattoos and the grill. I can at least live with that. All right. And then I was just like, my man pulled up with freaking dishwashing gloves on and a rifle. So then for him to be like, he has a lot of freedom. Jared Leto is a freaking method actor, and they give him a lot of leeway. So I know he had a lot to say in what he says and what he did. So for him to like really go along with that dialogue, it was, and then like for him to supposed to be mad when Batman kind of poked him about killing Harley Quinn, and he was, you're good. you're good. Like that was man. Don't even get me started. This was his. This was a 20-minute clip for him to show me that he was more than that whack ass incarnation on Suicide Squad, and he failed us. And Jared Leto's a great actor, and I know somewhere in there he has a dope ass Joker. But whatever he's been showing us, it ain't it, bro. My man forgot that he got off the set of Dallas Buyers Club and he just pulled up the freaking Justice League set with some crazy makeup and just was like, all right, I'm ready.
I think he would have been in the Ben Affleck standalone Batman movie.
You think he would have?
Yeah. If that had gone ahead, I think he would have.
I know he would have, but I would have been even more upset because it would have been garbage. Like, I mean, because it's like, which one are we going to go? Look, this is post-apocalyptic Joker, right? Who looks significantly better than Suicide Squad Joker, right? So if this was Ben Affleck's standalone Batman film, there's a good chance that he would have looked like he did on Suicide Squad. Which is a design that I don't like. I think that design is stupid. I get that you want to die for me. Like, come on, dude. Like, I can't. I don't know what it is about that Joker, but he is definitely hands down one of the worst Jokers that ever stepped foot in front of the screen. And I put him below the original Batman TV show Joker, like with the paint over the. With the paint over, no. The old one.
The old one.
The dude
I know talking about. Yeah, him. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Got painted over his mustache. I put him below that. So I mean, that's pretty bad.
Let's just try and rewind a little bit here, though. Let's get back to. I mean, because the Joker was a small part of this Justice League.
So was Superman. Superman was a small part of this movie too.
Let's talk about Superman.
Okay. I feel like he was wasted. I feel like what they had him do in this movie was a freaking complete waste of time. My man pulled up, beat Steppenwolf, zapped off half of his little ear thingy, and it was just like socking him and zapping him. But the thing that didn't make sense, okay, unless Superman was holding back. Oh, this is another thing that didn't make sense to me. All right, so if we're going with the original continuity of the films, Man of Steel, right? Clark didn't want to kill General Zod, right? He only did it because he had to, right? Like he was hesitant about killing someone. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yep.
Right. So why was he so cool with like them basically doing a Mortal Kombat fatality on Steppenwolf?
I can answer that.
He was cool with partaking in that shit. He was like,
I can answer it very, very simply.
Go for it.
Right. Steppenwolf is a bad character.
Sure
As in, he's there to destroy the world, etc. Oh yeah, and he wants to take him down. Oh yeah, so so he's there to take him out, and that's what he did. He took him out. All right, with General Zod, he knew that if he killed General Zod, in his mind at that moment, and I know you might say there is other characters, but that is the last Kryptonian person there is. If he kills him, that's the last bit of his world gone. Yeah, other than himself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now I know we could get onto Supergirl and other things like that, but he doesn't really know about that at that moment. So in that moment, he's basically destroying his final links with his home planet. And in Man of Steel, he comes back, doesn't he, and sees Martha and says, like, I found him. I found my dad. It's all about his discovery about who he is and his origins from Krypton. So to then have to destroy the last bit of Krypton when he would have liked to have lived on Earth with Zod in an ideal world. Mm-hmm. But obviously Zod wasn't going to do that. And he could see, and he begged him, didn't he? While he was trying to kill them people in the train station, he begged him, don't do this, no. Yeah. And then he realized that he was going to kill the people in the train station. So he had no choice whatsoever. And he had to kill him.
Yeah, he had to do it. Okay. I mean, you got to think because you're protected.
I can fully attest to that. I now that you've been put in that point, I agree. So you don't feel like Superman has a problem with killing people at all. It's just that in that moment, he didn't want to just erase his past. That's what you think it mostly was.
Correct.
Okay, I can rock with that. Because another thing too, I was just sitting there like I was I watched him basically manhandle the shit out of Steppenwolf. He could have soloed him if he wanted to. So I was wondering why he didn't just do it on his own, and why did he save it for like the group fatality? Because I mean, he was sitting there just.
I mean, going back, I mean, let's talk about the original cut and the Snyder cut. This scene, other than the fact he was wearing the blue outfit, I also think Steppenwolf's character was far better. Like his look. I mean, that slow motion scene when the fist comes by and he does that. You know, if you look at that scene from the original and you look at the scene from the Zack Snyder cut, it's little things like the claws on his hand and everything else. It's just more intimidating. It's the whole Steppenwolf character, coming back to what was said at the beginning, his whole look, you know, his feet, everything about him was done better than the original cut. And I found that, although I'd seen that scene and I knew that scene was kind of, when it started, I knew that scene was coming, but there's none of that truth, justice, and the American way line. That's out there from the original cut. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's very more like, I'm badass, I'm wearing the black suit, and I'm here to kick your ass and, you know, burn off your horn.
Your ear,
And, but it's like, if he had the ability to kill him, why didn't he just do it like quickly? Like when he cut off his ear, he could have easily just decapitated him right there.
Yeah.
He saw his ear super easy. I didn't see why he hesitated. That's the reason why I'm thinking like, okay, was he all right with killing him? Because technically he could have just killed him in that moment. Like he could just
technically in any movie with a decent superhero, they could probably kill someone at any given moment. But that would be the end of the thing, though. You've got to give him a little bit of license and say, like, you know, let's build up a little bit of a fight here. You know, you've got to give him that, surely.
So let me ask you this. So when Superman, even though he was beating Steppenwolf up and he just tossed him, okay, would you think that Wonder Woman, Superman probably thought that Wonder Woman had an urgency to, like, when she like cut his head off, decapitate his head and all stuff. Do you think that Superman know that she wanted, you know, to, like, I guess, you know, by cutting off his head, this is for all my sisters that he killed? Because you gotta think, Steppenwolf, if you go back and watch that scene, he was murdering all of her sisters. He said something about I've sliced. He said something about I slice. What do you say, David? He said something else.
I know what he's talking about. That's another thing. He taunted her the whole movie, and I was
that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, you really did that? All right, then boom. Like, you know, I was waiting for her to go like Super Saiyan or something to beat his ass. Like, it never happened.
So who could say that when Superman, even though Superman was like, you know what, I'm just gonna toss you, and then Wonder Woman just went cut his head off? Because I think Wonder Woman was like, you know what, this is probably for, you know, all my sisters that you killed back in, you know, in Amazon. So I mean, they gotta think about that, man. So
yeah, I mean, again, if we just talk about that scene for a moment, the whole Amazon scene, that was far better in this film than the original cut.
Yeah.
And you know what though, it was, but I felt like they were trying to make me care when what is her name, Hippolyta, when she was watching the temple fall into the ocean. To me, they tried to make that emotional scene and it didn't hit for me. I don't know if that was the same for you guys. I don't know if you guys felt emotional with that scene, but I felt like it was trying to be emotional, but it just didn't hit the mark. Were you guys emotional in that scene?
Nah, I was just like,
I wasn't, but I thought it lended a bit more of an epic feel to the moment to see that fall into the ocean, rather than him just bashing out and then catching up with him real quick, grabbing it, saying goodbye, see you later. There was more gravitas there, and I think that at no point in this movie did I think it dragged. Personally, I think
it dragged at the beginning. For me, it dragged at the beginning.
Yeah, it dragged at the beginning a little bit.
That first hour was kind of hard, and then like I said, once it picked up, and it didn't take its foot off the gas. But that beginning was kind of hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will agree with you though. That whole scene was done a lot better. But like I said, this is something that neither the Josh Whedon cut or the Zach cut. I don't know why we're calling it the Zach Whedon. And it really feels like Zach just edited down a lot of these clips. There are some things that he changed, but I wouldn't say that he changed a lot. Do you guys agree? Like, I know he cut a lot, but I mean, I'm talking about like reshot, like brand new, different scenes.
I feel like he added. I think he added some more scenes because me and my mom, we was both talking about it, and I said, Mom, she said, this is familiar right here, Justin. And then she said, I don't remember this part. I said, yeah. I said, they added so much into this cut in this movie. They added so much. They could have done reshoots. That's what I think. They could have done some reshoots.
I could be wrong, but I think, and I have read this somewhere as well, I think there's approximately an hour's worth of footage from the original cut in the Zack Snyder cut.
Oh, wait. So, okay. An hour? It felt like more than that, though. Because, like I said, the only things that I felt, the ending is different.
Some reports have gone down as low as 40 minutes, but I think it's more like an hour. Yeah. And it's like the scene towards the end where they cut out the family that were in that Russian or wherever they were supposed to be, that country. Yeah. That scene there, if you go back and you look at it from the Justice League, the original Justice League version, the Joss Whedon version, that's got all the red sky and everything else right there. And he takes all that color palette out and he puts it all sort of brighter, but sort of darker in the same sort of way. He changes that. He gives Aquaman more to do in that scene as well. So while that scene is the same, he's made significant changes. It's a bit like when you watch the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2 and you look at the Zod against Superman scene in the city, and the Richard Donner cut takes out all the laughter track and all the music, and he makes that scene seem really intimidating. Whereas the cut you saw in the cinema of Superman 2, you've got the guy on the skates going backwards, and it all looks a bit funny, and you're supposed to laugh at it. Whereas by just taking away changing some music, it makes that scene more atmospheric. And I think he's done a similar thing to that scene in this movie.
You just said something that rang a bell with me. Music. The score in this movie fucking sucked. I hated it. I hated this. Junkie XL did a terrible job at scoring this movie. They should have stuck with Danny Elfman and old boy from Avengers. This shit was trash, bro. I am sick and tired of every time Wonder Woman popped on the screen and I hear,
yeah, man, that was kind of annoying for me. I was like, what the heck?
The score was whack in this movie. And then the song that they chose when Aquaman was going into the water, whack. I hated it. That shit was whack, dude. Was whack. They really was. I know they were trying to get the whole embodiment of the original film and how Junkie XL got fired and everything, but he should have stayed fired. That shit was whack, dude. Did you like the score? Well, any of you?
I didn't dislike it.
And one thing is this that I'm mad about is they did not have this, like when Superman came back, like, you know, like how when he went to go see, you know, Alfred and all stuff, then, you know, he's trying to, you know, he comes, you know, in the fight. They should have had that Superman theme come up, but they didn't. That was right there was a letdown for me. But I was like, you know what? It is what it is, man. You know, they didn't have the Batman theme in there either. I was like, come on, man.
Bro, it was, I'm telling you, that score was a letdown.
Score, wasn't it?
I'm like,
you said what?
Was Elfman's score, so they've taken that out, and they, you know, so they're not going to use that if they.
But then, like, dude, the Wonder Woman. Every time Wonder Woman was on the screen,
yeah, man, that was annoying.
I did not like that at all. Like, it took me out of the moment every time. Like, it never failed. I was like, why does this motherfucker have wailing women in this damn soundtrack? Like, why? Like, who the hell? Like, if you really bought the soundtrack, I'm gonna buy the Zack Snyder cut. Like, at least 5.
I think you just muted yourself, Davey. Can you hear me?
Oh shit! I did.
I
was over there getting too into. I was feeling it way too much.
Yeah.
Movie Mash said he liked the score. Movie Mash, you don't know what you're talking about, sir. You don't know music.
He liked the score.
I'm not
That
sure
shit
who.
was whack.
Oh, bro,
They put there the
score was
man of score
depressing.
in the film. Elfman's score doesn't belong near this film, and for me,
What? Who said
said
that?
that?
Who said
Yeah,
that? Who said that? Hold on. Who said that, Mike?
I'm not. I'm
Show
not sure.
yourself.
Someone
Show
watched on
yourself.
YouTube. I'd have to.
Do they
get onto-
not know who Danny Elfman is? The guy that
No,
did the
Danny
original
Elfman is a
Spider-Man
freaking
cut?
legend, bro.
Danny Elfman's a beast, man. Put some
Danny
respect
Elfman
on
is
that
a
man's
legend.
name.
He can be a legend, but it doesn't mean it doesn't.
No.
He's a-
Don't
he's
you
not
do that. Don't
saying-
you do that. He said just because he's a legend, it doesn't mean nah. Danny Elfman is the man, bro. That's like saying like Hans Zimmerman ain't the man.
He's about to be in Doctor Strange 2 for the score.
Danny?
Sam Raimi, yes. Danny
Yeah, bro,
Elfman's
that's
gonna
a
be in it. Danny Elfman's about to be back, bro.
That's a W right there. But like, bro, Junkie XL butchered this score. It's nothing that nobody could tell me that's gonna change my mind. That score was filth.
in the same way that you won't change Derek's mind, for example, that Batman v Superman was a good movie. Even though I tried very hard in one of our previous chats. That's fine. If you don't like the score, that's fine. But I think it did fit with Zack Snyder's vision, and I don't think
with 300, not this movie. I can see that score being in 300 easily. Even that the movie about the water battle or whatever that they followed up, even with the Immortals movie. But this movie, like, it just didn't. To me, it didn't fit. Like, it was. Nah. It stood out. It stuck out like a sore thumb, bro. I was just sitting there and like once I heard, and I was like, okay. And then it kept coming on every time Wonder Woman was on the screen. And I was like, bro, just play her theme and just call it a day. And then
I think you only heard that theme one time. I think it was when the robbery, like when they had the robbery or something like that. When the guys was in there and they had them people as hostages, that's when the only time you heard her theme. After that, you just heard that. I'm like,
yeah, that shit was whack,
like, bro. Come on, man. Give me something good.
Another thing, this movie had way too many slow-mos, bro. I don't care what nobody said. That shit way too many slow-mos. Way too many slow. It felt like everything. It was like, hold on, I'm about to give me a soda. Everything was a slow-mo, dude. It was like, hey man, hold on, ring the doorbell.
That scene was in the original. That scene was in the original as well.
Which one?
So the scene with Aquaman taking his drink.
Oh yeah, that. Man.
Bro, I was so sick and tired of watching Flash touch things in slow motion.
Yeah, doing that.
I'm almost there.
But I mean, let's talk about Flash touching the sword, for example. That scene. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, in that scene, somewhere in the original cut, and we are here obviously to discuss the Zack Snyder cut, and we know that there is another cut available. So what you got to bear in mind is we're reviewing this film not just based on how well we like this film, but how well it stands up to another version of that film. You know, and I think if you compare the two, I think you'd have to give top marks to the Zack Snyder cut, in my opinion, and lower marks to the Joss Whedon cut, right? Yeah. But like, for example, in the Joss Whedon cut, in that scene, a little bit after that scene is where Flash falls onto Wonder Woman, and it's kind of like, "Oops, I'm sorry," you know, and he kind of. And there's a lot of other scenes in there, and I don't want to get controversial here, but obviously Joss Whedon, he's in the news at the moment, obviously for various things, and there's scenes in the movie where she's talking to Wonder Woman's talking to Batman, and the scene is shown from like the point of view of her ass, for example. There seems to be a lot of scenes in the Justice League Joss Whedon cut where he's sexualizing the likes of Wonder Woman. Yeah, and in this cut, you don't see that. Yeah, those scenes are removed from the movie, and I think that it's better for it. I don't know what you guys think.
I have a question. 2 questions. One, I'm gonna read a chat, but Is there like on the screen it says movie match? I thought it was forced, but I still like it. Is there a way to pan to the next ones so that we can actually put them on the screen? Because Carol has some stuff to say.
I can see Carol. Yeah, she's talking about the Flash slow mo, isn't it?
Yeah. But on the screen right now it says movie match. I thought it was forced, but I still liked it, which was the comment that he was talking about the Joker. Is there a way to switch to the next comment? I feel like there's a way to do that.
The one I see, the last comment I see is the Flash slow mo. It's on there.
No, I'm talking about look on the StreamYard screen. On the StreamYard screen at the bottom it says movie match and it says it's comment. I wanted to see if there's a way for us to highlight her comment so we could talk about it. So she knows we're specifically talking about her. There you go. Hey, let's go.
Yeah,
the Flash slow-mo is super annoying. It's fine once or twice, but after that, it's frustrating. I agree, Carol. That shit was stupid. This man tripped over a hot dog in slow motion.
Yep, he did.
But seriously, all bullshit aside, that whole scene, I get it. It was supposed to showcase Flash's abilities and show how super fast he was, but it was unneeded. All of that
unneeded.
Yes, it was unneeded. What was the purpose of him saving the woman and the dogs? I need to know.
Well, the woman is his love interest.
Okay.
And
we're possibly never going to see again, but continue.
She theoretically would be in the Flashpoint movie.
Possibly. Is she possibly? So she's in the Flash. Do you think that she's going to make? I think that Warner Brothers is going to expunge their life of the Snyder Cut after this movie's done. I mean, regardless of how well it did and was received by people, I don't think they're going to backtrack on it. So I think that they're going to move forward with whatever plan that they have with their Our Man movies and all this other crazy crap that they have going.
The last time we checked, it had a 75% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Please don't say Rotten Tomatoes.
97% audience.
We cannot go off of Rotten Tomatoes. It's biased as shit, bro. I've seen shitty movies get high ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. Hereditary probably has a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And that movie is trash. No, wait, not Hereditary. I'm sorry. I take that back. Please, horror community, forgive me. I meant Midsommar. Sorry, Midsommar, Us. There's so many movies that are on there that have high ratings that don't deserve it. Rotten Tomatoes, you have to take that with a grain of salt. But
that's the thing about movies, isn't it? Everyone, I liked Us. I liked Midsommar, but we won't get into that.
We can have that conversation whenever you want, buddy.
At the end of the day, that's what I'm. You didn't like it. You think it's absolute rubbish. That's fine. But that's the beauty of movies, isn't it? Sometimes you agree, sometimes you don't. But if you enjoy, as long as you enjoy the movies, or as long as they invoke a reaction, whether it be massive dislike or massive like.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Snyder Cut a lot more than I enjoyed the Whedon Cut because it elaborated more on the character and fleshed out the characters. But I am here to say that for those people that are saying that this is a masterpiece and it's on the level of the Infinity Saga, I have to immensely disagree with you on that one. But I have another thing. There is another critique in here in this noodle of mine. What the fuck was that Martian Manhunter? That was not Martian Manhunter, bro. I don't know who that was. That was Demon King Piccolo, bro, from Dragon Ball Evolution. That was not Martian Manhunter.
You did not like the way he looked.
Hell no. And if you watch my review, my complete total breakdown of this movie, you will see a funny clip in there specifically catered towards this, and it proves my point immensely. My man, Martian Manhunter, looked like a damn amphibian. He looked like he was about to start swimming in the ocean. I thought I was watching what's that movie called? The water movie with the what's it shit like water for something? What is it called? Damn.
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. Yes, there you go.
Water. Oh.
Yes, Shape of Water. That shit reminded me of that. He looked bad. That CG on Martian Manhunter was garbage. They could have did better with that.
Yeah, he did kind of look like Piccolo a little bit from Dragon Ball Z. I was like, wow.
He looked like Piccolo from Dragon Ball Evolution. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll put it in a private chat for you guys. Hold up.
He said, hold up. So, Mike, my question is to you. Okay, in the movie, I know we talk about our dislikes. In the movie, the most from the Snyder Cut, what did you like about the film most? What did you like?
I liked I liked the fact that it told a story, and it felt like a cohesive story, and it's kind of built a universe, and it's built anticipation for movies. And I'm trying to think about how I would feel if I saw this 2017. If I watched this in 2017, bearing in mind this came out before the likes of Infinity War, for example,
Yeah.
So you're seeing the character of Darkseid a lot more than what you've seen of Thanos at that point, and it's really building up what could be in the movies. And I think it fleshed out the characters well. I know David thinks it fleshed out the lesser characters and it sacrificed bigger characters. I'm a massive Superman fan, but I thought they couldn't do any more with Superman than what was done pretty much in the original cut. They obviously changed up his suit, and they changed up. They lengthened out how he got to, going from basically wanting to kill the Justice League to wanting to help them. They switched that out, and that was good. But I thought everyone got their moment, and it was a cohesive story. I'm not saying it was the best story in the world. I'm not saying it's a an A-star movie, but I'm just saying it was a really good movie, and it's possibly one of the best DCE movies made.
Okay, you said DCE, but nah, Wonder Woman's better than this. The first one, 84, was rubbish. Anyway, what was I gonna say? We have a question in the chat by Mr. MNA. What's your opinion on the visual effects? It was like an Indian movie with terrible CGI. What are your takes?
Who said that?
Mr. MNA. I don't know, but he's in a YouTube chat. He said that the visual effects look like those Indian movies with terrible CGI. Hey, you know what? Hey, low key, some of them Indian movie CGI scenes, like, they look really glossy. They have like that 300 effect. Yeah. It's not always bad, but I understand what they're talking about with, because what's that shit? KGF Part 2. I was watching the trailer to it, and there was a car explosion scene, and it looked terrible. But yeah, what are you guys' opinions on the visual effects of that of the Snyder cut?
I like how the way Steppenwolf looked. To be honest, I like the way how he looked.
He looked better, but I don't think he looked better, but I still wasn't digging his armor.
You just think that his armor was just too. Well, they glossed him up. I feel like they glossed him up too much because he was glossing.
Oh yeah, he was shining.
I was shining. I was like, dang, they got Steppenwolf shining up in this mud, bro.
Shining. And I mean, it might have even been more like I feel like it might have been exaggerated too because the film was so dark. So that might have added an extra, like, trying
to push it out there.
I think Steppenwolf was a major upgrade from the original film, and
absolutely.
Going back to the original film, I think he got a lot of flack when that came out about how bad Steppenwolf looked in the original film. So I think credit where credit's due. I do think they made a credible difference in the CGI from Steppenwolf in 2017 to now. Yeah, I think there was one or two scenes where you'd look at it and you'd say that looks a bit ropey, but you have to bear in mind this is a movie that this isn't in production. This wasn't made in production. This was kind of, they gave them a small budget, relatively small budget, and said, go away with this and make something of this movie.
Wait, we're talking about the Snyder, the 70 million?
Yeah, I think the 70 million. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, wait. If this was a cut and not just raw ass footage, then 70 million should be sufficient. All right. So that's where we're going to have it depends on their definition of cut. How much was this actually completed? Because the way that it was made to seem like was that the shit was complete. It just needed to be a little bit touched up. Now, if it's like
CGI,
like it just needed to be touched up. So I think it just depends on how much of this movie was actually finished or how much did he actually have.
there's clearly some of the scenes at the end, like with the Joker, etc., they were filmed afterwards. They were new scenes. Yeah,
The
Joker
they
was
did do reshoots. I heard something about that
yeah,
like a
the
couple months ago.
Joker, the Joker scene was not filmed in 2017.
Oh
right?
hell no, nah.
No.
So that whole epilogue scene was in 2017.
Yeah, so they're going to have to spend some money getting the actors in and everything else to do those things.
Dang, they paid $70 million for fish sticks. Tight. My little fish stick. Hey, wait, but hold up though. Hey, speaking of fish stick, that Mirror versus Steppenwolf fight was tight. She put the hands on his ass. I like that. It showed that she wasn't no chump.
Who's
the underwater fight scene with her and Steppenwolf, where she was like, I don't know what the hell she was doing. She looked like she was trying to suck his insides out or something.
Oh
that
yeah,
that shit was tight. When it was like, oh, she was like, I ain't trying to live. I don't know what she did, but that shit was tight. Oh, you never gave me your okay. I need answers. From Mike. What is your opinion on freaking Martian Manhunter's ugly design? And then look, if you look in our private chat, if you click that link, it'll show you what it looks like, in my opinion.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, that shit gonna make you laugh. Did you click it, Justin?
Yeah,
I just clicked on it right now.
Tell me that shit don't look like Martian Manhunter.
Let me see.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, that shit looks like that. It looks horrible. And then why was Martian Manhunter in this movie? Okay, look, I know Martian Manhunter has the ability to see like a days into the future. How far does this technique take? Can he really look into like the distant future, or is it just like something like he can see until tomorrow?
I don't know, but I think at some point you've got to give this movie a little bit of slack. The fact that this is a cut. It's not a movie that's just been made. And I don't know if you guys know, but there was a big thought process of having Green Lantern in this movie.
Yeah, they wanted Ryan Reynolds, but I don't think it could happen.
I don't know about Ryan Reynolds, but there was talk of Green Lantern in this movie. It didn't happen for whatever reason, and my understanding is the replacement was Martian Manhunter. So he was kind of toe end in, so to speak.
Yeah, that didn't make no sense. I didn't look. How are you? Okay, Wusa. You're telling me that you spent most of this movie explaining why characters did things, but you left us guessing why Martian Manhunter went to go visit Lois. I mean, if you were like, because how would he? I understand why Batman would want this, because Batman saw the vision or whatever of like the evil Clark Kent or whatever, and the key to preventing this is with Lois. Fine, tight, we can live with that. But outside of that, how would Martian Manhunter know this? How would he know this? And this is and the only reason I know about his foreseeing into the future process is because I researched it, because I didn't understand how he would know about this. Now, from what I read, he's shown ability to see into like a day, but to see into like a distant future, I didn't run across anything like that. So how is he able to see this future, this post-apocalyptic future, and know that the only way to prevent this is to keep Lois on track? How would he know that?
Well, are you going to?
He must know a lot about Superman.
Yeah.
And
are you going to agree he is the general from Man of Steel?
Me personally, I don't even know. Possibly.
Because if we take it for granted that he was the character, I can't remember his name, of the general in Man of Steel, yeah, then he would have seen from that movie and from those experiences how key Lois is to Superman. Yeah, not necessarily key in the same way that Batman in his nightmare vision sees, but he knows the link they've got, and so for that reason, he wanted to G up Lois and get her back out there because he knew because if he can look a day or so in the future, he knows Superman's coming back, and he knew she'd need to be ready.
Yeah, but he referred to Lois as the key, which is what Flash referred to Lois as the key. And the reason why she's the key is because she's the key to prevent that post-apocalyptic evil Superman from flying around decapitating people just for the hell of it. That's what it was referred to as the key. How would he know this? He's not going to know this just by having some daily conversation with her or just observing. He must have to have some sort of vision or something like that. If you're going to shell out this movie and flesh out these characters, at least explain why Martian Manhunter believes that she's the key. We get why Flash did it because a Flash from a future distance past came and warned them. We get why it was Spider-Man. Batman figured this out because he had a nightmare. Now, why are you at my doorstep looking like a green cantaloupe popping up telling me that, hey, you know what? Take care of that Lois. You know, she's a good one. And then you pretend to be Martha and you have this conversation with her to cheer her back up and get her back on her feet. Tight. I love it. But explain why he did this instead of just leaving it up to the people to be like, yo, because they honestly just felt like they just dropped him in there just to be like, yo, he's in there. And I've heard some theories go around that they were saying that the studio basically just bit the idea that the fan base had. The fan base was like, Brad Williams says Martian Manhunter looked awesome. Stop smoking shit, bro. If you think Martian Manhunter looks good, you smoking glass, homie. I was gonna say something else, but I don't want to disrespect him. So yeah, bro. I'll just say that you are having a very good time smoking in your mother's basement. But anyway, yeah, Martian Manhunter's design was shit. But how do we know that? They never. I felt like Zach took so much time at explaining why these characters are doing the things they did. I felt like he could have just took just a nanosecond. Maybe even like when he stepped out the door and he was the general, he could have just went and it had a flashback scene, or maybe him seeing into the future, and then have him like monologuing over the shit saying she is the key or some shit like that. You know, just to give us an idea that
scenes were just cameos, really. And why can't they be moments that would be more fleshed out and explained in future movies? You've got to bear in mind these movies were made to have this movie was made to have sequels, and to flesh out the universe in a larger way. So why couldn't they be more fleshed out in future films? Why couldn't he appear in different films? Why do you have to have a fleshed out answer for absolutely everything? I don't think any other movie that is in a franchise like this, you wouldn't go back and say to some of the Marvel films or even like Man of Steel or anything else, oh, why wasn't this explained? Everything else. I mean, the whole Flash scene from Batman v Superman, people said after Justice League, what was all that about? Well, it was answered in Justice League, the Snyder Cut, because you see Flash from there in that film. There's nothing to say you wouldn't have those answers in future films. Can't we agree on that?
But even if the films happen, this is up in the air. Zack Snyder there is no confirmation that Zack Snyder is for sure doing a Justice League 2 and 3. There's no confirmation that he's coming back to DC, period. So this is all up in the air. So you might as well put your eggs in a basket now. Now, with that being said, if you just wanted to introduce the character, you could have just simply had the dialogue scene with him and Batman on the porch and just left it at that. You didn't have to have him with Lois. And like I said, a lot of people feel like what the studio did was there was some fan theories out there saying that, oh, Manhunter is the general. There was a theory about this, and a lot of people feel like the studio just was scrolling through the Reddit comments and was like, "Oh shit, that's a pretty damn good idea. I think we should run with that." And they did that because honestly, that scene didn't make sense. You could have just had him pop up at Batman's doorstep and then talk to him, and then that's it. Like, and that could have been our throw the dog a bone moment. Hold up, Derek has a question. He said. He wants Justin to answer this question. He said, do you think if this was released in box office, do you think the Snyder Cut would do good?
Yeah, I think it could. It could do good.
We talking big numbers, or we talking like okay? I don't think
I will say this. From what I've seen from the Zack Snyder cut, this movie, okay, I know a lot of people put it up there with Infinity War, Endgame. Okay, I get
it. Ain't
all
even a top 5 superhero movie.
But I will say this: this movie, like, what I like about this movie, it was dark. That's what got me. And I said they're going the dark route in this film. They had dark elements in this film. I said that's what got me stoked for this movie. So, yeah, I can see it, doing, some numbers. Do I think it's going to be like 2 billion something box office? No.
He said hit a billion. He said, do you think it'll hit $1 billion? Hell no. And
no.
I got an easy answer for that. It's too long. It's too long.
I think it probably.
Oh shit, we lost him.
He's coming
maybe,
back.
Maybe.
He just resurrected himself. Did they just give you the mother box? That was tight. You saw that shit? He was like, and he came back and started talking like he never left. You dropped for a minute.
My fault, bro.
It's all good. It was crazy. You kept talking.
But anyway, yeah, I think that this movie, it could probably make probably about maybe 800, 900 million at the most. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Just, like I said, I'm gonna tell you like this, Davey. For what I've seen from this movie has some dark elements, bro. Had dark elements. And that's what a lot of fans want from like some of these, these comic book movies, bro. They want some dark elements in the movie. And you did get that, bro. You seen mofos were getting decapitated left and right. You did see blood. And I'm saying
a darker movie, like light wise, lack of light. Continue.
My opinion about whether it'll hit the billion is, I think because it's an R-rated movie, it's doubtful that it would hit the billion. But I think you can't judge it on 2021 standards. You have to say to yourself, what would it make in 2017 if it came out then? And we didn't have the Joss Whedon cut. And I think Joss Whedon's cut made approximately, I'm going to say, $650 million worldwide.
But that movie was average.
I think that this cut, maybe at 3.5 hours, with some of the epilogue left for the Blu-ray release, I think at 3.5 hours it could have worked, and I think it would have made more than the 650 that the Joss Whedon cut made, and I think it would get close to maybe 800 to 850. I
said 800, 900.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I think that the numbers depend on two really big things. And the two big things that it depends on is, one, is this during a pandemic when the movie theaters are barely opening back up? If it's during the pandemic when movie theaters are barely opening up, I think that and with limited amounts of movies that are being released and movies that are being re-released that have already been shown online, yeah, bro, it ain't going. You know what? I take that back. If they only put this in theaters and they just skip the whole HBO Max thing, then there's a possibility that it would do okay. The problem is this movie's too damn long.
It's 4 hours long.
You cannot have, like, think about it. You're already limiting your capacity. This is a 4-hour movie.
They would have to break it down, part 1 and part 2. That's what they have to do.
That's like 3 movie slots for a regular film. So somebody sat through a movie 3 times and filled a stadium filled a theater 3 times already for this one movie. You're already going to get hit in the box office from that. And even if you load the theaters with this movie, you're still not going. I can watch, like I said, a regular movie could be viewed 3 times already. That's 3 pack screenings versus this 1 pack screening. So I don't think I think its runtime will be its downfall. It will not be a huge box office hit, and it will never hit $1 billion ever.
That's why I said probably about 800 to 900 million. Just like
that would be nice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But if it hits $1 billion, bro, if it hits $1 billion, that would surprise me. But I'm just saying. I know it would.
It just
I know it
doesn't-
never. I know it never would, Davey. But I'm saying if it did, then bro, that would shock me because just like you said, by the runtime, because it's like this movie is 4 hours long, bro. And it had the epilogue at the end which was unnecessary. But anyway, moving on. I'm just saying is that, like I said, the runtime, I don't see it, making $1 billion. But like I said, maybe on average, like I said, 800 to 900, maybe at the least.
Nice.
That's like I said, at the least 800, 900. But I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion because for the runtime.
Would you guys?
Especially because this is a movie that's already released. I don't know too many people that are running to see that.
Would you agree that if it was released in cinemas, it would probably be less than 4 hours?
Yeah,
I would hope so.
Yeah, they would have to make it like.
I think it's only 4 hours because this is clearly the only way it's being released. They're not aiming at cinema release. This is the only way it's being released. So Zack Snyder has given everything that the fans wanted in one cut.
Okay? But even if you chop it to,
if it went down to 3.5 hours,
if it went
down to three and a half hours, right? Yeah, you're talking very close to Endgame runtime, and Endgame became the most successful film in box office history. Now, I'm not saying that Justice League would beat Endgame, but I'm simply saying long films can make substantial amounts of cash. Yeah, 3 hour movies.
What was the numbers for Lord of the Rings? Because that was a 4 hour movie.
Well, it weren't. Lord of the Rings was 3. The last one was about 3 hour movie, probably in the cinema, but more like 3.5 hours in the extended cut they released on Blu-ray. So again, there was about 2 extra scenes at the end that they added on in the extended version.
Dude, the extended version was 4 hours and 11 minutes. Good lord! But continue. Sorry, I was looking at the runtimes for Lord of the Rings. It's 4 hours and 11 minutes, 3 hours and 43 minutes, 3 hours and 2 minutes. Good lord!
Bro, it's so much.
That's a lot. But
at the time, Lord of the Rings was top 5 grossing film. I think you'll find.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think at the top, obviously, Titanic would have been top back then. Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace would have been up there. There wasn't many films that had made more than $1 billion back then.
I think that this is really going to just really dive down to what is it competing against. I don't know what the hell went against Endgame. And I don't know what was in theaters at the same time as Endgame, and I don't remember. So that has a lot to do with it. If this movie is going up against like a Godzilla versus Kong, and let's just throw in like Mortal Kombat to just be like, I was
about to say that.
I mean, then them numbers is going to get hit. Then a movie theater has to go, well, you know what? We're going to have to put this movie in less theaters because we have these other big movies that are coming out around the same time. So anyway it goes, I think box office wise, it's going to get hit. But I have some questions that I wrote some notes in the chat. I feel like this doesn't feel like a superhero movie. I feel like it didn't have many superhero moments. Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
I'd have to disagree, but I'd listen to your reasoning.
Okay, Justin, go for it. Do you agree or disagree?
That has superhero elements in this movie?
Nah,
moments.
The only you want me to elaborate more, or you good to go? You want to?
I could say the only moment that I've seen was just Wonder Woman saving those people, and that was it. But everything else was just.
That's exactly where I was going. You're right here with me. The only part in this movie that felt like a superhero movie, was Wonder Woman saving the people in the bank. That's the only damn part of this movie.
Yep.
The only part of this movie that felt like a real superhero movie. Everything else just seemed like an action movie. Like it didn't really feel like a superhero movie. It's only reason we associate it with a superhero movie is because we know that the characters themselves are superheroes. Yeah. It didn't feel like a superhero movie.
It just felt like after we seen that moment of Wonder Woman saving all those people in that bank, then after that, everything else was just basically just like going towards like war, like showing you like flashback scenes and all stuff, like people getting like slaughtered and all stuff. It was showing you that. So I was like, well, and that's basically like throughout the rest of the film, I just felt like it just showing basically just about war and just like fighting and all stuff. I didn't think it had no superhero element on my side. So
that's what I think.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean,
So,
what do you think, Mike? What do you think, Mike?
Mike is about to blow our mind. Go for it, sir.
So, I mean, you saying that? Am I right in saying that you wanted to see more interaction with regular people then, and because there wasn't scenes like the bank scene, that's what you class as a superhero moment?
I mean, even dude, okay, I could give you another. Well, okay, look. So the part that was cut out of the original version, with Superman and Flash saving those Russian families and stuff, that's a superhero moment, right?
Yeah.
But then also you have things like this. If you watch Infinity Wars, the scene where they team up and they try to take Thanos' glove before old boy messes it up. I don't know why I can't. Star-Lord messes it up. That felt like a superhero moment, right? It felt like a superhero moment, and it felt like a superhero team up moment.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel that for this movie. Like, it didn't feel like a superhero movie. And I'm going to say this off top. This is a disclaimer. I am not a Marvel fanboy. I honestly like more DC properties than I like Marvel in a comic verse. And then also on top of that, I'm not like a really huge like superhero buff. Like, I think that the superhero market in film is oversaturated. That's my opinion on the matter. But
I think you froze up, Davey.
I was going to say, I mean, what I was going to say, we'll wait for David to come back. What I was going to say is, I don't think the movie suffered by not having too many ordinary humans to save, so to speak. Yeah, because the film wasn't about someone wanting to come down to Earth, destroy Earth, and take over the world. It was about finding the mother boxes and redemption for Steppenwolf. And it had already been laid out that they've been on hundreds of thousands of worlds. And, you know, this wasn't really a big thing to them in that sort of sense. Yeah. It was more about they were there for the job. They were there to do that. And they didn't care. They didn't care about any of the people on Earth. Now, I think clearly Joss Whedon saw that when he took over the movie, and he inserted that family into the movie. Now, maybe you tell me that you liked that scene and you felt it was good in the Justice League, but in the original Justice League. But I didn't think that. I thought that was just it didn't balance well with the movie when it was released in 2017. To just have this one family that we don't know anything about, yeah, and then to have. And then I think it downgraded Flash's importance to have him as a character that's just there for comic value, saving one family in a truck, yeah, and shouting out goodbye or whatever it was he said in the foreign language. And then follow up with Superman flying by with an entire flat full of people. So I think the film was better to not have that. Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to have those I've saved 1,000 people superhero moments. I get what Davey's saying in the sense of if you're going to go back to Infinity War, the moment where they were taking off the glove did feel like a really epic moment. I felt there was epic moments in this movie. We've already discussed the battle on Amazon. That was an epic moment. Yeah, it felt so much more fleshed out. I felt Cyborg's character had several epic moments. I think his whole character arc. I think when his dad died in the lab, I think that was an epic moment. It was almost like when Clark's dad died in Man of Steel.
Yeah,
it was that sort of moment, and that was what really made the team sort of say, right, we can see this is obviously hurt you kind of thing. We're going to get this guy. We are going to get him. Yeah. And they went and got him. Now we can argue again about the strength value of like they should have been able to beat Steppenwolf without Superman coming in, etc., etc. But that was always going to be. I mean, if you went into this movie not thinking that Superman was going to come in at the end and save the day, then you went into it naively, surely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you got to think like the team, they couldn't. That's nothing too. Even just like when Davey said, about Wonder Woman. Like I said, she should have been. I think she could have like handled Steppenwolf, but I think honestly, I noticed something. Like this way, he said that like she was weak. I think it's because of what he said. Like Steppenwolf probably brought her down a notch by telling her. He said, "I've slit the blood of your sisters and all stuff." And I think that she was probably having like afraid moment, if that makes sense or something. But but like I said, but I think like the team, they just basically they needed Superman the most. They needed him the most.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, we got. I put up on here that Christopher Jackson's comment, which kind of backs up what Davey's saying. Superhero movie needs many superhero moments. Without them, it's just men and women in tights and capes fighting. And I appreciate what Chris is saying there. Now, I could be wrong. The last time I heard from Chris, I don't think he'd watched the movie. I don't think he was going to be watching the movie. He was just basing it on. He was going to base his opinions on what people had said. And I do think there were superhero moments. I get it. There wasn't moments like Davies was explaining. There wasn't many saving moments like that. But I think the moments were there. I think, like I've already said, I think the moments on Amazon, I think the moments with Flash and Cyborg, I think they were, and Superman's return. I think Superman's return was an epic superhero moment, and it made when Superman basically did the same intro from Man of Steel, where he put his fist on the floor.
Yeah,
that was an epic superhero moment. Yeah, when I watched
he was hearing his. Well, actually, both of his father's voice, like his father from Krypton that died in that the planet, and then hearing his father, his actual dad and all stuff, and telling him they said you're gonna do great things. He's soaking all that because, like I said, when he first comes out, he doesn't know who he is, but then he goes through, and then and after that, then he remembers. He's like, okay, I'm destined to do great things. So yeah, man, this, like I said, that moment right there was a good superhero moment. I'm not gonna lie, that was too a good superhero moment. But the one that got for me was Wonder Woman. Man, was when she saved all those people in that bank. That was only superhero moment that I feel out of that movie. Like I said, everything else to me like felt like it was just like war. Oh, he is back. He is back. He is back. He is back.
I resurrected like Superman.
He is back.
Dude, my internet just tripped out. And I was like, what the hell? I was checking the box. I had to reset it real quick. I don't know. Were we talking about superhero moments?
Yeah. It was kind of, we were sort of moving on from it was basically from what you were saying about how the movie didn't have that many superhero moments. And my opinion in a roundabout way was just it didn't need to have that many people being. I'd rather not have Superman saving a load of people in a building like he did in the original Justice League cut, and I'd rather have hit the scene that we were just talking about, Justin, where he's hearing from his dad's, and it's kind of a homage to Man of Steel, and he's coming off from the ground in the black suit in the same way he did in Man of Steel. And I think that's more of a superhero moment than him saving some people in a block of flats. But that's just me.
But I mean, like I said, saving people isn't also always superhero-y. You know what I'm saying? Like even when I gave the example with the Infinity War and the whole the team up scene in order to get Thanos' gauntlet, that felt like a very superhero-esque. This movie didn't have those moments in it where it felt like, damn, dude, like that was a tight ass superhero moment. Like it didn't feel like it. Just felt like a bunch of people that know how to fight teamed up and fought a bigger threat. It didn't feel like it was the only reason, like I said, the only reason you associate this movie with heroes is because you know the characters are heroes themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you gave it a B. Is that right, Davey?
Gave it a B. Yes.
Gave it a B. So what about you?
I gave it. Me and David talked about this yesterday. I gave it an A, but I'm gonna say it like this: the reason why I gave it an A because I like how the way it was dark in the movie. This is how the way that it had dark elements in the movie. That's the way I liked it. And I was like, because I was surprised, because as a fan, you see some of this stuff, you like, dang it, like it surprised me. I gave it an A, but eventually will I watch it again and then see what I missed? Yes, but I ain't gonna lie, that's 4 hours of it's a long run time, bro. Like
I think you do need to watch it more than once, Sonia. I think and I've only watched it once as well. I think you do need to rewatch it.
Man,
boy, that's a long movie, bro.
I got 2 jobs, bro, in life. I don't know if I could do that. I can't make that. It was a chore to watch this one.
I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to give it 2 ratings.
Nah.
I'm going to give it.
Yeah, let him go. Let him go, baby. Let him go.
I'm just joking.
Against the original Justice League, I'm going to give it an A-. Okay. Yeah, if I'm measuring it against the original Justice League. If I'm measuring it as a standalone film and just imagining that the original Justice League doesn't exist, I'd probably give it a B+.
Okay, B+. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it just gets a standard B for me. It's a literal whole upgrade for me from one film to the next. Masterpiece? Hell no. A lot of people call this a masterpiece. I don't see it. Me personally, I don't even see it in my top 5. I don't have it in top 5 all-time superhero movies at all.
I've seen a lot of people's people's.
Go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
I've seen a lot of people's posts on Facebook about it, and then people talking about this movie is better than Endgame, and I'm like, no,
it's not.
It's not. I'm like, it's good. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong, it's a good movie, but no, it's not better than Endgame. But it is a good movie though.
The thing with Endgame isn't as good. For example, in my opinion, Endgame isn't as good as Infinity War. In my opinion, right?
You said Endgame is as good as Infinity War?
It's not as good as Infinity War.
As good as Infinity War, in my opinion.
So you feel like Infinity War is better?
Infinity War is better, yeah. Right.
Okay,
but I think Endgame done better and is well received more because it was a payoff of 10 years of movies. Yeah. If you took it as just, if you try and take it and strip it down as just a movie and you removed the payoffs they put in there in that movie, which emotionally fans have watched for 10 years, and you didn't have that connection from 22 previous movies, I think Endgame goes from an A movie down to a B-, for example.
Okay.
Right? But obviously you can't not know the history of the MCU, and because of what it does for 10 years worth of movies, yeah, you can't give Endgame anything but an A. Yeah, and it is a masterpiece for what it achieves based on the entire MCU. Yeah, and in fairness to Justice League, it doesn't have 20 movies to pay homage to previously. It's like the first Avengers movie. So let's put Justice League up against the first Avengers movie, and I think Justice League: The Snyder Cut does more for me than Avengers.
Honestly, you know what, David, he does have a good point on that one. I mean, Avengers 1 was a good movie, but from watching the Snyder Cut, I think it's probably better than Avengers 1. When we just ask the chat, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that Justice League Snyder Cut is better than Avengers 1? Or do y'all think Avengers 1 still holds still the top notch?
Chris says Infinity War.
I'm going to say that the Snyder Cut is better, but for biased reasons. And the biased reasons is because this is a rated R movie. This is some grown man shit. Yeah. And Marvel movies haven't trickled into that realm yet. So me personally, I prefer dark, grown man movies, especially superhero movies, versus like the kid-friendly, like superhero movies that we get.
That is the point, isn't it, Dave? That is the point. This is the movie he wanted to make, but the studio wouldn't let him make it. So this is the movie
because of kids.
Make an R-rated movie, irrespective of whether Marvel are going to make an R-rated movie, irrespective of what they wanted to do what they wanted to do with their Avengers movies. Zack Snyder wanted to make an R-rated Justice League. That's what he wanted. Yeah, and I think it's better than the original Avengers. And I think I'm not saying that in 10 years' time, if we reinstated the Zack Snyder verse, that we'd be sitting here saying that the DCEU is greater than the MCU. That's a whole other debate, and I don't think it's fair to actually ask that question. I'm just saying I think second or third potential Justice League movies could maybe rival the likes of, or better, the likes of Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and possibly Endgame. I'm not saying be better than Endgame, but they could certainly rival them with more time and more world building around them. With the Flashpoint movie, the Cyborg movie, obviously Aquaman was after this Justice League. You have to bear that in mind. Yeah, and obviously the upcoming potential third Wonder Woman movie.
I will say this: the DC EU, they can, but they got to have good plot. And also, the writing has to be good too. The writing has to be good, man. Because that's another thing. The DC, I feel like at first when they was trying to build up, because they were honestly, you could tell they was trying to rival with the MCU. Could you notice that, Davey? They was trying to rival with the MCU.
Yeah, of course.
And and honestly, to be honest, Mike, I think when they made Man of Steel, the next movie should be okay. Because we should not have had that 2-year gap. And then, okay, we're going to go to Batman versus Superman because a lot of people did not like that movie. And the fact that, it's a good movie, but some of us comic book fans were just like, not our taste. Because first, you just throw Batman in there and you don't have, really, he should have had a standalone film. Yeah, he wasn't established long, like we know about, like Superman was.
I've heard that in Batman v Superman, when he goes past in his lair, and you see the Batman outfit with obviously the ha 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 spray paint over it. Yeah, what I've read up on is that would have been directly spoken about in Justice League 2. So there were things that were going to happen, but probably won't now. I don't think there will be a Snyderverse, but we'll wait and see what the fans do and what Warner Brothers thinks. But those sorts of things were going to be in future movies, and I think it was all about world building, but world building in a slightly different way. And I think you're right, Justin. They didn't realize. I don't think at that time they didn't realize how quickly the films were being pumped out of Marvel and how much impact they were going to have. Marvel started going around about that time. They started going to like 3 or 4 movies a year, and that just pushed DC further and further behind as far as the world building goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've had to play catch up ever since. Because let's be honest, if you're a Marvel fan, you're a DC fan. If you like DC, you probably like Marvel. Yeah, not every Marvel fan likes DC, but if you like DC, you probably like Marvel. So you've been watching the Marvel films. So their fan base is asking them to have their movies more like Marvel. A large proportion, not necessarily myself, necessarily yourself, but a large proportion of the fan base is saying we want this from our movies. But they had a slightly different. Certainly, Zack had a slightly different viewpoint, and I think Warner Brothers took advantage of his situation with the Justice League, and they moved it, as I said previously, more to in line with the MCU, because they believe that's what the mainstream wanted.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, like I said, they can. The DC, they have a chance. With this movie being out, they can still have a chance. Like I said, a couple years from now, with the MCU, a lot of people just wonder, are they ever going to go dark? Because, you know, a lot of MCU fans, they want a dark rated R movie. After this movie came out, the Snyder Cut, you know, MCU fans, they want some dark rated R Marvel movies now. You know that. You know that's going to happen, Mike.
They're going to get Deadpool, aren't they?
It's going to be rated. But this is one thing I don't like. You're going to make Deadpool rated R, but you're not going to make Blade rated R. Blade's going to be in the MCU. He's a vampire hunter. You can't dumb him down.
Yeah, also Moon Knight. Moon Knight.
So what?
Moon Knight. Moon Knight is also a dark character.
Yeah, you can't dump them characters down. And then they're trying to will in Carnage into the MCU. You can't dumb that character down. That's a dark character.
That's only if this goes well with Fox.
Yeah.
That all depends. Not Fox. Sony.
Sony.
It only depends if it goes well with Sony. If it don't go well with Sony, then you know it's dead in the water.
Yeah. But
I mean,
like I said,
has there been confirmation, or we've lost Justin again? Has there been confirmation of what rating Blade is going to be then?
PG-13.
It's confirmed, is it?
That's what they said. They said they're not going to make it rated R. And a lot of fans are upset because they want it to be rated R because you cannot have, bro, you're going to bring in vampires. You cannot bring in vampires and think this movie's going to PG-13. Wesley Snipes movies, the Blade movies, those was rated R movies because what? Vampires do what? They drink blood. You're showing blood, gore. So why are you doing that in the MCU? You're just teasing us to talk about, oh yeah, we're gonna make this PG-13. Do not do that, MCU. Please, if you're gonna make Deadpool rated R, you have to make Blade rated R.
That's why I was like, they have the Fox umbrella. They should just use that.
I mean,
put out their rated R movies.
Yeah, they should now. Yeah, but who knows?
Is this is this movie in anybody's top 5 all-time superhero movies?
Top 5.
Top 5. I say no. No for me. Off top. I haven't had time to think about this. So
would it be in your top 10? Would it be in your top 10?
Nope.
Not in top 10.
I don't think so.
I mean,
you have the Nolan Batmans. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's a hard category to crack. Top 10? No, I don't think so. I would have to compile a list, but I feel like there's just too many movies that are better than it.
Yeah, I mean, for starters, you're talking this. You know, you've got 23 MCU movies straight away now.
Mm-hmm.
Before you even start going prior to the MCU, and going back to like the 70s with Superman, and then obviously the 80s Batman movies. Mm-hmm. You're talking 30, 40, 50 movies easy that you have to compile a list of. So it's difficult to say top 5 straight away. I think it could well be in my top 10 if I made a list. But
would you be shoehorning it in your list, or would it naturally belong there? Because I can probably you could probably look at your list and be like, you know what, this could probably be replaceable. You know, like that's always going to be one of the movies that can possibly easily be replaceable in anybody's top 10 list. There's some
I'll say this
cemented in people's top 10. Like I feel like Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock. That's a really, really, really good movie to me.
Absolutely.
And that one's definitely going to crack my top 10, and it's going to be cemented there somewhere. Always.
Yeah. Facts.
But will this movie get that same treatment? I doubt it.
I think Zack Snyder's Justice League that brings something to the table that most other superhero movies, partly because it is rated R, most other superhero movies don't have. Yeah, and I think when you factor in all the characters are in there and the story that is being told, mm-hmm. and the world building that is trying to be put into place, irrespective of whether that world continues or not, that puts you under consideration to be in anyone's top 10. Anyone's.
Mm. Yeah. Well, so you said you feel like it's cracking your top 10. All right. Go for it.
So about asking me if I put it in my top 10.
Yeah. I said you could get number 1, didn't you?
The Snyder Cut it probably would not be in my top 5 or top 10. Maybe it could crack top 20, maybe.
Yeah.
But not top 5 or top 10, especially because Lord knows I got like a lot. Well, actually, top 5 and top 10. Just like he said about Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is my best, to this day. Still one of the best comic book superhero films. Like, still, like, it's still, like, honestly, it's
Wait, you said the movie
5.
still is in your top 10? No,
What?
Was Shaquille O'Neal? That's your top 10? No, I'm just joking. No, because you said it's in my top 10 still. And I was like, and I just had to throw that joke out there. If anybody remembers the Shaquille O'Neal adaptation of the movie Still, yes. Man, I liked it because it was like it was a black superhero, and that shit was very uncommon at the time. But like that damn movie did not age well at all. Woo.
Yeah, it did not.
Oh man, I gotta review that movie just for laughs. Dale, where's Dale? Derek, we have if we're gonna do that little watch thingy, Still has to be on there. Definitely. That shit'll be funny to rip on. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Mike.
Chris says, let's be honest, the casual superhero audience is much bigger than the hardcore superhero audience. Would you disagree with that?
Nah, I agree. I mean, because you got to think about it. Like, the biggest consumers of superhero cinema have been kids who know nothing about the comic book or the superheroes. They just know that Spider-Man shoots webs out of his hand, and that's tight. That's all they know, Batman throws a boomerang at you, it's a wrap, but but as far as like superhero films, like I said, I still give this movie a B. This movie was very entertaining for me. It's not, somebody recommended, you missed so many things, you have to watch it 3 or 4 times. I'm like, fuck you, I'm not watching it 3 or 4 times. You're out of your fucking mind. I can't do it. But there's one thing that I want to discuss. There is rumblings on the internet that says that in the scene where Lois is talking to Martha, there's a birth a pregnancy test somewhere in there.
I've seen that. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
She goes and gets her press pass from her drawer, and in the drawer there is a pregnancy test.
Yes.
And is this the hint that Bruce and Lois did the?
I got a theory.
Did the thingamajiggy, because that's what I heard that Zach wanted them to do. He wanted them,
I got a theory.
Go ahead, baby. He wanted them to do the adult thing and then apparently have a kid. And Superman was supposed to be like Superman's supposed to take the mantle of this boy's father. That's what the rumblings are of Zach's idea for this what's
so you're saying you said Bruce, is that right? You're saying it was Bruce?
Batman caked Lois and had a baby, and then Clark is going to raise said child, and that kid is supposed to be futuristic Batman or something.
Yeah,
Batman. That's the rumblings.
Yes, that's the rumbling. That is true. I heard some about that.
They said that's what Snyder wanted, and a lot of people were like, "Hell no, Snyder wouldn't want that." Whatever. But why would you have a pregnancy test in your drawer? Superman's been dead for how long? How long has Superman been dead?
Very long. I'd say probably 6 months.
I don't know.
I
think she got some. She was probably grieving, and Bruce was over there with the bat arms and was like, hey, "Girl, come get in this food." Hey man.
Hey, Batman was knocking them boots real good, bro.
Unless that's an old pregnancy test from like when she thought she might have been pregnant by Clark, but I mean there was no hints of that in any of the other films. So yeah, that kind of makes me kind of weary that maybe, just maybe, that Zach,
you gotta think
that idea that Zach had, it might be some sort of truth to that. I don't know.
If you go to the back, go on, Justin. Sorry, what was you saying?
Go back into not Justice League, Batman versus Superman. When Flash says you was right about him, he said fear him. Okay, do you know in Batman's Nightmare, when Superman he takes off Batman's mask, he said she was my world and you took her from me. Think about that. Think about that.
Another thing too is didn't the Joker like kind of like when the Joker was talking to Batman, didn't he make it seem like there was a kid somewhere in the picture that died?
I don't think so, but
I
he
think
did.
so.
He did say Lois really suffered real bad.
Yeah, but he said I'm about to rewatch this, even though I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm about to rewatch
it too.
I'm going to rewatch this epilogue scene just to see this because I swear I didn't want to rewind it because I was already tired and I was like, I don't feel like breaking this down. But I feel like he said something about a kid in there. Now, and at first it went over my head. I thought maybe he was talking about Robin. But now that this pregnancy thing popped up, I feel like he might be hinting at Batman and Lois knocking boots and had a kid. And this might be the reason for this apocalypse.
Well, I thought he mentioned about having a son, didn't he? Like, as in, and he was referring to Robin, I suppose, in that.
That's what we're assuming. We're assuming. But if she had a pregnancy test in the drawer,
he did also mention how much Lois suffers. And if she was pregnant in Justice League 2, for example, if that was what that scene was setting up, if she was pregnant in Justice League 2 and she effectively died in Justice League 2, whether she died after the baby was born, whether the baby died, all those things you don't know, do you? But that is an interesting point you brought up about the pregnancy test, and that could be another element to what he's saying about how horrific her death was and how painful.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm about to rewatch this epilogue scene, but later though, because I got errands and stuff I gotta run. But definitely when I heard about that, I thought, no lie, I was like, that sounds like some Zack shit that he would do, but I didn't think he would be like ballsy enough to try it. So when I've been hearing about the rumblings of the pregnancy test, and I was like, no freaking way. And yep, just Lord and behold, the pregnancy test was there. So I don't know.
I mean, because you gotta think. Bruce could have brought, even though Superman, he was dead for, Lord knows how long, there's a chance that, Bruce Wayne probably was over there, comforting her. Ain't no telling what could have happened. They could go in depth and tell that. Because that's probably the reason why Superman, like when he said in that nightmare, Batman's nightmare, he said, she was my world and you took her from me. So think about that. So there's a lot of elements to that.
Yeah, see,
just
saying, I don't know,
Yeah, I mean, you feel what I'm saying, Davey? I mean, there's a lot of elements, bro.
If Justice League 2 and Justice League 3 did exist, and the full vision was made, I think you could watch Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League 1, 2, and 3, and it'd be an awfully different experience. I think you'd watch Batman v Superman and it'd be an awfully different experience, knowing what might come in Justice League 2.
True, but okay, let's be honest. I just want a real answer here. Do we like this idea that Batman cake Lois and then she's possibly pregnant with Bat Child? Do we like this idea? I think, me personally, I don't like it. I think it's it's a whack strategy to
it is.
Bring forth a post-apocalyptic world.
Because I don't like it either. Because I mean, this is going to basically just like push like Superman to like the edge, just to to become even more evil. Well, I mean, I think there's probably other stuff with that too, but I think that could probably push him to make him even worse. Because especially just like they said, just like Flash said in that nightmare scene, said Lois is the key. She's always been the key. So this whole thing is it's always been around Lois the whole time.
But
so
we're also kind of not talking about Darkseid here. As in, we're talking that Justice League 2 and Justice League 3 is going to have, would potentially have these big moments with Batman, Superman, Lois, and everything else. But presumably there would be this looming big bad in Darkseid, and I just wonder how he plays in to the way that Superman turns bad.
Well, did you not see? I I think it was like in that scene where when Superman he was like over Lois, and I think Lois is, I think she's gone, and then you see Darkseid's hand, grabbing Superman's shoulder and all stuff. So I
Yeah,
mean,
I
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Okay, yeah, where was that scene in the movie? I must have like blanked out for a minute. Was that scene in the movie? The whole Darkseid touching Superman's shoulder? Was that in the movie, or was that just in the trailer?
No, that was in the
That was
movie.
That was quite early on, I think, in the movie.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, because did you not see like Lois was laying there dead, and Superman like is in tears because he lost the woman of his life. And
the screaming thing? Was it?
Yeah. Huh?
It was the screaming thing.
The screaming?
No.
That was in the previous movie, dying, right?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is when like it shows like Superman like he lost Lois, and then you see Darkseid walking over there towards him, and he's putting his hand on his shoulder. I think that's probably the reason that Superman's probably went, crazy. He went psychotic because of that. Because like I said, Lois is the key.
Like I said, I must have missed this.
Yeah, it's in the scene, bro. I have to find
Wasn't that when Batman woke up in the bed? Wasn't he having that? Wasn't he maybe having that dream, and he woke up in bed with a bit of a sweat?
I think that was right. He was having that dream.
Yeah, because he woke up at the end of the movie, and then Martian Manhunter was on his patio.
Yeah,
unless there was another scene that I'm forgetting about.
Yeah, but yeah, it was in there. Like I was surprised did you miss that, David? But yeah, it was in there, man. Like
I mean, there were certain parts where I had to get up and like.
In the trailer, isn't it?
Yeah. So what?
I think that scene's actually in one of the trailers.
It is in the trailer. That's why I was like,
it's in the trailer. I didn't know it was in the trailer.
Yeah, it's in the trailer. So that's why I was like, when I watched it, I didn't want to put it in my review because I knew that there was a possibility that I missed it, and I just don't remember seeing that in the movie. But I'm glad you guys clarified that it was actually in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so what we've kind of to sum this all up, Davey, you've now decided you are going to be rewatching at least part of the movie, so that's a start. It was a case. It started off with I'm not watching that movie again, but you are going to at least watch 20 minutes of the movie by the sounds of it, and I'm sure you're going to go in that scene with Lois just so you can see that.
Oh yeah, fuck. I gotta find it. Damn, I need to find a timestamp of that shit because I am not about to just go back, just rewind. That shit is gonna be torture. But yeah, but overall, like I said, the movie's enjoyable. It has its flaws, but it's not something where if I had to. Okay, look. I usually rack shit up to like would I buy this movie or not, and to keep it a buck, I probably would buy this movie if it was presented in a 4K format or something like that. So this movie has caught my interest to the point where I would purchase it to have it in my collection, which is a rare feat now because I'm trying to downsize my damn collection. I have like all these damn movies behind me,
yeah,
freaking bookshelf full of the damn things. So I'm trying to downsize it. So for me to say that I would possibly get this, that's a lot. So yeah, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would definitely buy it.
Justin, your final thoughts?
Would I buy this film?
What does that have to do with buy it? It could just final thoughts, like your final say on the film.
If I don't say on the film,
yeah,
it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Like I said, it has some dark elements that I like in the movie. I think that's what got me surprised about the movie. That it had like dark elements, and I know that's what Snyder was going for. And the characters you can see, like from.
Oh, he's gone again.
Virgin,
he's back.
Okay, okay. Well, that's what I said. I know. I just go away. So you see from like Josh Whedon's version to like Zack Snyder's version, you can see that some of the supporting characters they developed a little bit. You can see that some of them had growth, and that's what I like about it too. Like, and it wasn't. And another thing too, I think I like that interests me in this film. It wasn't like the original because, like Josh Whedon's version, like it was just choppy here and there and all stuff. It was just choppy and all stuff. Like in the Zack Snyder's cut, they gave like a full detail, what was going on, and I think that's what got me, interested in this movie too. But yeah, the movie's a good film.
And like any good movie, it leaves you wanting more.
Yeah,
you can't say if you left the cinema watching that film, you couldn't say you'd not want to see where that movie is going, because we've all been talking about it. So it leaves you wanting more. Whether we'll get more is another question.
Davey,
Davey. At the very least, you want to know whether or not Lois is pregnant. At the very least, you want answers to them questions.
Oh yeah. Did Batman knock them boots?
I think he did. Because you got to think, bro. Superman was dead for, who knows for how long, for how long. If you, like, Mike, you said 6 months, right?
Yeah.
She's
not been back to work. How long does she not go back to work for? Is the question you got to ask yourself. How long before
was it months? Was it months or was it weeks?
Well, this is the thing. So she was still working for the Daily Planet because she was able to go back. So how long would a job be open? It's potential a job would be open for 6 months, maybe.
Yeah.
With something like the death of Superman, that you could see that happening, but it certainly wouldn't be years, would it? So it's got to be within 3 to 6 months max.
I think 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
What do you think, Davey?
I think so. I think it's definitely been some time has passed. Enough time for her to get her boots knocked. So yeah.
Well, possibly, maybe in so many weeks' time, we might be sitting here talking about the announcement of Justice League 2 and the restoring of the Snyderverse.
No. Don't say.
Here we go.
Don't say such horrible things.
Here we go.
But I don't know if anyone else in the comments has any sort of final questions, but I think we've pretty much said all our thoughts and what we want on for the time being on Zack Snyder. I could personally probably go on for another 3 hours if I'm honest, but I know obviously other people. But yeah, so I don't know if there's any more comments, any more questions from anyone watching, but
Derek says Lois had a gangbang with all of them. Derek is a fool.
I can't believe he said that. Lois had a gangbang with all of them.
She's gonna have an Atlantean, Amazonian, Batman, Kryptonian baby. Hey, that'll be a beast. If they found a way to
I think Derek thinks that Stephen King must have written the screenplay for that.
Right? Like she's gonna she's gonna do that to summon a gigantic turtle.
He said, wait a minute. He said, I got her pregnant.
Oh, that baby's gonna be weak then. That baby's gonna be weak. His ability will be a shiny scalp.
Yeah. Superman's coming for you then, Derek, isn't he?
That's funny though. But yeah, I guess it's a wrap, guys.
Yes. No worries. Well, thanks for everyone who's watching, and obviously, until next time.
Wait, don't forget to subscribe to the Movie Mash YouTube page, Del Boy's Movie Mash Reviews. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to my channel, Cinema Chop Shop on YouTube. Justice says he's going to make a channel, so whenever he does that shit, he can plug it. And then, Mike, you have some very interesting takes. You should honestly start a YouTube channel too, my friend. So, yeah. So we can all be in here being YouTube celebrities.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace out.
All right. Adios.
Adios.